well. And those of you at home will stomp your feet and yell and holler because it's going to be interesting.
I tell you, the fans probably battled just as hard as the players did earlier today, and it was a tremendous output by the Connersville fans that really helped the Spartans out in that victory against the Richmond Red Devils, and hopefully they can do it again.
One of the things they must remember now is who the opponent is. No longer is it Richmond.
Yeah.
It's the Batesville Bulldogs.
Now, Batesville's in blue and white. They'll be the home team tonight in their white uniforms, trimmed in blue. The Connersville Spartans remain the visitors here at the Tiernan Center as the respective benches are being introduced first for both squads, and then we'll have the formal introduction of the starting lineup. Of course, for Connersville, Matt Shirk, Eric Harley, Chris Smithson, Michael Johnson, Jerry Smith, Chris Bottomley, and Mitch Sizemore comprise the Connersville bench, and what a job by Bottomley and Sizemore, the only two that were utilized in the first game. But Bottomley had a heck of a third quarter, scoring all 6 of his points.
He certainly did, John. He and Sizemore hooked up with 4 points. Each one got one of those two on some real crisp passing that came at really a crucial time in the game.
The Bulldog bench is Mark Laker, Rick Gow, Ed French, Phil Dahl, Doug Brown, Matt Laker, and Jeff Bloom. They got just 2 points off that bench. They did get to play 10 players, but 5 of those played maybe 3 seconds of the ball game. Now the starters. First of all, for the visiting Connersville Spartans, it is going to be Greg Garrison, a 5'11 senior, averaging just under 8 points a game. He had 6 points before fouling out against Richmond. For Batesville, it's going to be Jason Laudick, a 6'2 senior. He has a 17-point average, has scored only 7 in the win against Rising Sun. For Connersville at the other forward, it's Steve Hobby, a 6'3 senior. Steve's averaging 14 points a game, but had just 4 points in that win against Richmond. The other Batesville forward is going to be Rick Ehrman, a 6'2 senior, averaging 15 a game, and he had 16 points in the win against Rising Sun. In the middle for Connersville, Noel Bostic, a 6'2 senior, at a 9.5-point average. He had 16 big points for Connersville in the win against Richmond, one of those players most instrumental in that victory. The center for Batesville is Tony Doolin. He's a 6'5 senior. He had 10 points in the win against Rising Sun. He averages about 10 points a game. For Connersville in the backcourt, Joe Smith, the 6'2 senior, who leads the team with a 16.5-point average. He had a game-high 23 in the win against Richmond. For Batesville, Todd Dickman, a 6'1 junior at one guard, averaging 8 points a game. He had 7 points in the win against Rising Sun. For Connersville, Chris Poe rounds out the starting 5, a 5'10 senior with a 9.6 average. 19 big points in that win against Richmond. Now the other guard for Batesville, John Siebert, a 5'10 senior, averages 8 per game, and he had 19 in the win against Rising Sun. Steve Cochran, the coach of Batesville, they're 18-5. Larry Bullington is the coach of the Connersville Spartans. They are 16-7. And now we have the Richmond High School coming out here for our national anthem. probably right there. But nonetheless, it's Connersville and Batesville in the championship game, and probably a lot of people thought these was 8 minutes up on the clock. Spartans and Bulldogs. Boy, they had a dandy when they met in the regional in '83, with Connersville winning that one by 1 and going on to win the state championship. The Spartans control the tip. Smith gets it over to Garrison on the left side. Garrison drives the baseline, takes it to the hoop, and we've got an offensive foul on Greg Garrison. Greg fouled the ball game.
He came down opening to the left side, and then the defense covered up, and Greg was already committed to make the layup, and he missed it. It wasn't counted anyway, but he did pick up the offensive foul.
Now the Bulldogs will put the ball in play. It'll be John Siebert bringing it up. Half-court press applied by Connersville. Siebert gets it over to Ehrman. Now to Dickman at the top of the circle. Dickman looks for help. Finds Laudick, and then back to Ehrman. His shot no good from long range, and Garrison cleans the rebound for Connersville. The outlet to Poe. He looks underneath, nowhere to go, and brings it right back out. Joe Smith will take it right side to Garrison on the wing. Greg starts to penetrate, dishes to Poe on the second man around, and Poe gets the first basket of the ball game.
Bulldogs have chosen a man defense to come out with, and the Spartans were able to take the ball 2 times now. One get one basket.
Here's an outside shot by Dickman, no good. The rebound, Ehrman and Dickman battle for it. Dickman gets it. He sends it out now to Siebert. Siebert open from the right wing. Gives up the shot to Laudick. His shot for 3 points is good. He hits it deep in the right corner. The Bulldogs lead it by 1. Here's Joe Smith. Baseline right, gets it out to Garrison. Around to Poe. He'll fire a three-pointer from the left side. Short. And the rebound, the Bulldogs, Tony Doolin gets it. He'll set it up to Siebert, who brings it up for Batesville. The Bulldogs lead it by 1. 6:34 left to play in the first quarter. Siebert goes to Dickman in the lane, back to Siebert. Siebert finds Laudick for a three-pointer, good again. Now they're going to give him just 2 on that. So Laudick gets the first 5 points for Batesville. They lead it by 3. And Hobby gets the pass inside, and he draws a foul. Garrison did a good job getting the feed into Steve Hobby.
They picked up the foul inside on Laudick, and he can certainly shoot the ball. He's the left-hander Wilson talked about earlier today in your interview, John.
Laudick gets the first foul for Batesville. He's got all 5 of the Bulldog points. Garrison gets the inbound pass around the Poe at the top of the circle. Now to Joe Smith, right side. Smith finds Poe top of the key. He works it left side to Bostic, and now back to Poe. Here's Smith on the right wing. He starts to drive. Dishes down low to Garrison. Reverse layup is good for Greg Garrison. That cuts the Bulldog lead down to 1.
Good teamwork there from Smith to Garrison.
5:54 to play in the first quarter. The Bulldogs lead it by 1. Ehrman goes inside to Laudick, and he misses the layup, gets his own rebound, and he's going to draw a foul on Joe Smith. That'll be the first on Joe, the second on the Spartans. 5:46 to play in this first quarter. Batesville up by 1. It'll be a common foul, so the Bulldogs will put it in play out of bounds underneath their own basket.
Bulldogs able to get the ball inside and have a foul called on the Spartans.
Siebert with the basketball, left side, goes inside to Doolin over Bostic, short. Rebound tipped long, but Siebert comes up with it over to Dickman. He fires over Hobby, no good, and on the rebound, Doolin is over the back of the Connersville Spartans. Doolin over the back of Joe Smith. Doolin gets his first foul. That's the second on the Bulldogs.
Some fierce battling inside, and right now the referees are calling fouls. Hopefully that'll solve that situation.
A 1-point Batesville lead. Connersville with the basketball. Both teams have 2 field goals. The difference is Jason Laudick's three-pointer. There's Greg Garrison. Tries to go inside. Deflected. Picked back up by Garrison to Bostic at the top of the circle. Bostic gives up his dribble to Joe Smith. His left side jumper is good. Joe Smith gives the Spartans a 6-5 lead.
For a man defense, Joe was really wide open on the play.
5:10 left in the first quarter. Dickman works it out to Siebert. Siebert looks inside and brings it back out on the right wing. Finds Dickman in the corner. Dickman starts to go up back to Siebert. Siebert double teamed to the lane. Now to Doolin. Right side shot no good. Rebound Hobby. Here comes Joe Smith on the dribble. Smith left side in the corner to Poe. His long jumper good for 2. Chris Poe gets his 4th point, and the Spartans lead it 8-5. 4:40 left to play in the first quarter. Dickman works the ball to Siebert. And around it comes to Laudick on the right wing. He's got all 5 of the Bulldog points. Siebert takes the top of the circle. Finds Ehrman cutting inside, and he lays it up and in for his first 2. The 6'2 senior cuts the Spartan lead to 1. Joe Smith in the lane. Dishes off to Crispo. Open for 3 from the left side. Good. Crispo's got the hot hand. He's got 7 points, and the Spartans lead it 11-7. There is Siebert, and we've got a whistle and a palming violation on Batesville. Turns the ball back over to Connersville.
Well, the Spartans right now have been able to keep the tempo up, John. The Bulldogs don't like to play quite this quick. We'll have to see how this works throughout this first quarter.
Now in the season, both teams average 68 points offensively. Both teams give up 60 points defensively. Joe Smith with a basketball. He works cross court to Poe. Poe finds Hobby in the left corner. Hobby stops, looks for help, goes to Garrison. He'll fire from outside, no good. And Doolin has the rebound for Batesville. The Bulldogs trail it by 4. Left to play in the first quarter. Siebert works it to Dickman on the left side. Dickman walks with the basketball as he started to go to the basket.
And Dickman saw an opening there. Off running with the ball. We've seen that particular situation happen several times this year, John, where a man will have the open the way clear and he'll just run with the ball.
Both Mitchell Sizemore and Chris Bottomley check in for Connersville. Steve Hobby will take a breather, and so will Greg Garrison. Spartans have the ball on a 4-point lead with 3:37 left to play in the first quarter. So Connersville is the first team to go to the bench. Bottomley with the basketball. He works it out high to Bostic at the top of the circle. Now to Chris Poe. Poe, baseline left, is going to be cut off. Goes out to Joe Smith. Smith starts to drive. Dishes down low to Bottomley and gets called for taking steps. Now Joe tried to weave his way through the Batesville defense and got caught for traveling.
Had a man open. He just couldn't get the ball to him soon enough.
Batesville down by 4. The Bulldogs have the basketball with 3:13 left to play in the first quarter. This is the championship game of the Richmond Regional. Dickman goes to Doolin and back over to Dickman. Around the Siebert, top of the circle to Laudick. His 3-pointer from the right side is good, and Laudick makes it a 1-point ball game. The Spartans lead it 11-10. Sizemore takes it right side. Stops, dishes off to Poe. Poe takes it to the basket, misses the layup. Rebound is saved by Poe right in the hands of Doolin of Batesville. Here comes Siebert, quickly up court. Dishes off to Ehrman. His jumper from the right side, no good. Laudick with the rebound, puts it back up and in. The Bulldogs lead it by 1, 12-11. Laudick has 10 points. Spartans with a basketball. Joe Smith on the right wing. We'll bring it out now near the top of the circle as the Bulldogs lead it 12-11. Chris Poe in the left corner, double team, gets it back to Smith and around to Sizemore on the right side. Mitchell brings it back to Joe for 3 from the top of the key. Good. Joe Smith gets his 5th point, and it's a 14-12 Spartan lead. Both teams with a pair of 3-pointers. 2:03 left in the first. Batesville with a basketball. Laudick on the right wing, tries to go to Ehrman, and Chris Poe will foul him. That'll be the first on Poe, the third on Connersville as a team.
Spartans are playing that same defense that they played this afternoon, John, the triangle and 2, and Laudick is one man that they're trying to guard. Chris Poe has him right now.
Well, Laudick with 10 points in the first quarter, I can see why you want to have a man on him. Batesville gets it into Ehrman. Ehrman double-teamed on the baseline, brings it out to Siebert, and around it comes to Doolin, and here is Laudick open from the left side for 3. Short. Rebound, Mitchell Sizemore. Sizemore brings it up right side, cut off by Siebert, over to Joe Smith for 3. In and out, rebound Laudick of Batesville. Hobby and Garrison get set to check in for Connersville with 1:36 left to go in the first quarter. Spartans lead at 14-12. Batesville with a basketball. Laudick finds Ehrman in the right corner, inside to Doolin. He passes off, and Mitchell Sizemore intercepts the pass and makes contact with Dickman and loses the ball out of bounds.
Well, the people right down there close thought that perhaps that Dickman passed the ball or battled the ball out of bounds.
Or Dickman perhaps fouled him as Poe and Bostic come out. Hobby and Garrison re-enter the basketball game. Dickman gets it into Siebert. Siebert works it around to Laudick for a 3. He's got another one from the right side. That's 13 points for Laudick, and the Bulldogs lead at 15-14. Spartans with the basketball, 1:13 left in the first, down by 1. Mitchell Sizemore gets it over to Hobby. Hobby finds Sizemore. Around it comes to Joe Smith. Garrison takes it over to the right side. Finds Joe Smith. Smith hits Hobby in the corner for three. Left side shot in and out. Rebound taken down by Ehrman of Batesville with 54 seconds to play in the first. Laudick with the basketball goes over to Siebert. Siebert takes it right side of the circle to Ehrman. Inside the Doolin, his shot is good, and the Bulldogs lead it by 3. 17-14 Batesville with 40 seconds left to play in the first. Sizemore finds Smith over now to Garrison right wing. Garrison starts to drive, gives it back to Smith. He finds Sizemore now to Hobby on the left side. Hobby to Smith for three from the right wing. No good. Rebound, Garrison back up and in. Garrison's fourth point. Bulldogs lead it 17-16 with 16 seconds left to play in the first quarter. Bulldogs will work probably for the final shot, leading by 1. Dickman is open. He'll take it. He hits it with 7 seconds to play in the quarter. A three-point Batesville lead. Here's Sizemore. He'll get a shot off. It's good at the buzzer. Counts the basket after 1 quarter of play from the Tiernan Center on WCND WIFE. We're tied at 19.
We know it.
Pointer at the buzzer ties the game at 19, and Batesville starts off the second quarter with a basketball. Siebert and Dickman in the backcourt. Ehrman, Laudick, and Doolin up front. Laudick misses a layup, and Joe Smith has the rebound over to Greg Garrison. Garrison takes it to the hoop, has his shot blocked by Doolin, and the Bulldogs come back with it. Here is Siebert, knocked away by Bostic, picked up by Hobby. Long pass to Bostic for the layup, and he scores. Noel Bostic gets his first two, and the Spartans lead it 21-19.
Joe Smith did a good job of getting the ball ahead to Bostic. Bostic had cleared away, and Joe got the ball and threw it long to him.
Bulldogs will bring it up court. Siebert collides with Sizemore, and a foul on Mitchell Sizemore on the block as they meet at midcourt. Sizemore gets his first foul. That's the team's fourth.
That was a collision waiting to happen. Certainly was. And Mitch it appeared just didn't quite get in front there to take the charge.
Sizemore, Garrison, Smith, Hobby, and Bostic, the 5 for Connersville. Laudick will put it in play to Siebert for Batesville. Bulldogs are down by 2. Dickman with a basketball. He goes cross-court to Siebert, and Joe Smith tries to take it away and picks up his second foul. That'll be the team's 5th, and the Bulldogs will shoot the first free throw of the night.
And the Bulldogs have only fouled twice so far.
Well, they only committed 3 team fouls in the first half of their game against Rising Sun. And it's going to be Siebert at the free throw line. He's an 81% shooter. He's going to shoot right into the Connersville crowd. Siebert's free throw is good. That's his first point. He had 19 in the win against Rising Sun earlier today.
That tends to quiet the crowd down.
A 1-point Connersville lead as Siebert tries to tie it up with his second free throw. Bonus shot, in and out. Rebound, Joe Smith. Smith will bring it up court for Connersville, and he throws it right in the hands of Dickman, who loses it, and Smith gets it right back. Joe Smith for 3, no good from the right side, and on the rebound, Bostic is going to commit a foul. And on Knoll, that's going to be his first, and the Bulldogs will go back to the free throw line.
Spartans are relying on the three-point shot here, John, in this last few times down the court, and they've not gone in, and then the rebounds have come the Bulldogs' way.
And the Bulldogs cashed in on their free throws in the first game, hitting 17 of 22 for 77%, holding Rising Sun to just 4 of 6 from the stripe in that game.
Garrison has some difficulty with his contacts again.
Jerry Smith is getting set to check in for Connersville to get some more rebounding strength, and he'll probably take Garrison's spot. That's going to be the exchange. Greg had some problems with that contact earlier today. And we're going to see Ehrman at the free throw line. He's a 75% shooter on the year. As a team, though, Batesville only hits 67% from the free throw line.
His dad, a former coach of the Bulldogs.
Ehrman's shot is good. That's his third point. He ties the game at 21. He'll now get his bonus. 7:09 left in the first half. We're tied at 21 as Ehrman's second shot also good. Bulldogs up by 1. Spartans have the basketball. This regional championship game at the Tiernan Center. Here's Jerry Smith on the right wing. Double team. Cross court to Mitch Sizemore to Hobby. Left side shot by Hobby. No good. Smith with the rebound. Jerry gets it over to Joe. Joe Dishes off to Javi, deflected by Laudick, and he steps on the baseline, and the Spartans will maintain possession of the basketball.
Steve Javi still can't get on track, John. He's had a couple 3 shots tonight and none but fall.
Chris Poe will check back into the ball game for Connersville, and we'll see Mitchell Sizemore take a breather on the bench. Spartans get the ball in as Chris Poe works it over Smith, back to Poe, and around it comes to Jerry Smith. Here's Chris Poe with a basketball to Joe Smith on the left wing. Cross court to Chris Poe, and now to Jerry Smith on the baseline. Jumper is good by Jerry Smith. He gets his first 2 and puts the Spartans in front 23-22.
Good shooting there by Jerry Smith.
Bulldogs with the basketball as they throw it away. Bostic on the steal over to Chris Poe. Now to Joe Smith. In the lane to Javi. Javi's layup too strong. Jerry Smith with a rebound is going to be fouled underneath. And Smith will go to the stripe. He should.
Gary Garrison has his contact fixed. He'll be ready to come back in the ball game here.
So Garrison will come into the ball game, and Javi is going to come out. Up. And the foul is going to be on Dickman. That'll be his first. Team's third. And Jerry Smith misses the first of a 2-shot foul.
Jerry way short on that one.
Some of the Batesville fans have moved over to that the basket opposite the Connersville crowd. As Smith shoots into that and misses the second free throw as well. Jerry Smith had a chance to pad the Spartan lead but couldn't do it. The Bulldogs have the ball down by 1 with 6:07 left in the first half. Dickman gets it over to Siebert across the timeline to Laudick, and now to Ehrman on the baseline, and Garrison intercepts the pass. Garrison gets it over to Joe Smith. He finds Poe in the left corner. Poe takes it underneath to Jerry Smith. He'll miss the shot. A scramble for the ball, and Bostic has it for Connersville. He brings it back out to Joe Smith for 3 from the top of the key. No good. Rebound Ehrman of Batesville, and the Bulldogs have it. They trail by 1. 5:37 to play here in the first half. Mitchell Sizemore set to check in for Connersville as Dickman brings it out. Over now to Laudick from the corner, left side. It's good for 3. Laudick has a game-high 16 points, and the Bulldogs lead it by 2.
That's their first basket this quarter.
Garrison gets it out to Joe Smith and around to Chris Poe on the left side. Poe works it back over to Smith and now to Garrison in the corner right side. He's double-teamed. Over to Poe and around to Jerry Smith. Here's Bostic with it. He'll put it up from the left side. Good. Noel Bostic's second basket ties the game at 25. Bulldogs try to draw a charge. And one of the officials will halt action momentarily to wipe up some moisture where Siebert had gone down on his collision with Bostic. This allows some substitutions. Sizemore takes Joe Smith's place in the Connersville lineup. And Jeff Bloom, a 6'1 senior, is the first sub off the bench for Batesville. And he'll take Dickman's spot. We're tied at 25 with just under 5 minutes left in the first half of this regional championship game. The winner goes to Indianapolis' Hinkle Fieldhouse. Here is Doolin, baseline left, brings it back out to Bloom and around to Siebert. Siebert cross court to Ehrman. Ehrman inside to Doolin. Doolin puts it up and in over Bostic. A 2-point Batesville lead as Garrison pulls up inside to Smith and back out to Sizemore. Poe takes it from the left corner, and he stepped on the baseline.
Chris wasn't exactly sure. He had to jump up for the ball when he came down. There was that white line in the way.
Well, the Bulldogs have the ball in a 2-point lead with 4:32 left to play here in the first half. Batesville bringing it up court. Bloom over to Siebert. Siebert gets it now to Ehrman. Ehrman looks for help, double team to Siebert. Siebert works it inside to Ehrman. He'll put it up off glass and in for his 6th point. It's a 4-point Bulldog lead as Poe takes it right to the hoop and scores. Chris Poe has 9 for the Spartans, and he cuts the Bulldog lead in half. Steve Javi getting set to check back in for Connersville as Siebert brings it up court for the Bulldogs to Ehrman. His shot partially blocked by Bostic, who gets the rebound. Bostic will bring it up court over to Jerry Smith. Now to Chris Poe and back out to Bostic. Bostic will walk with a basketball. Now the Spartans had a chance to tie and couldn't get the job done as Jerry Smith comes out of the ball game, and so does Bostic. Joe Smith and Steve Hobby come back in. Hard-fought game here in this first half. 2 points separate the two teams.
Well, Spartans having some difficulty offensively. If they ever get off track here, the outcome could be different.
Bulldogs with the ball, leading by 2. Doolin takes it left side, cross court to Siebert. Siebert cut off by Chris Poe, goes to Ehrman in the right corner. Ehrman back to Siebert on the wing, and out to Laudick in the corner. Inside to Ehrman, and a foul on Greg Garrison will be his second, and that'll put Ehrman back out of the stripe where he is 2 for 2.
Laudick and Ehrman both inside do a lot of working without the basketball. They set each other up nicely, and that was the case in point there.
Chris Bottomley will check back into the ball game for Connersville. He'll take Garrison's spot, who leads with 2 fouls and 4 points with 3:27 left to play in the first half.
Coach Billington using a lot of players with brief spells here in this first half of play.
Well, he rotated 7 players wisely in that game against Richmond as Ehrman hits the free throw to stretch the Bulldog lead to 3. And he's trying that same rotation here tonight. Batesville had a couple of hours more to rest. They played the first game. Second shot by Ehrman is also good. So Batesville back out in front by 4. With 3:25 to play in the first half, the Spartans have the basketball. Joe Smith will set it over to Chris Poe in the left corner. Poe gets it back over to Smith. And now to Mitchell Sizemore in the right wing to Bottomley. Bottomley looks inside to Poe, and Poe will bring it right back out. He sets up Smith. Joe takes it left wing, gives up his dribble to Sizemore. He's open for 3. It's good. Mitchell Sizemore gets his second three-pointer of the night, and it's a 31-30 Batesville lead. And a foul on Steve Hobby as he tries to take the ball away from Jason Laudick will be Hobby's first. And Laudick, who has a game-high 16 points, including 4 three-pointers, will go to the free throw line with one of the bonus.
And the Bulldogs have hit their free throws nicely. They just missed 1 in this quarter.
Well, they're 5 out of 6. The Spartans are 0 for 2. And the Bulldogs lead at 31-30. Ehrman's free throw is good. Excuse me, that was Laudick with a free throw. Laudick now with 17 points in the first half. That's his season average. Second shot is off the mark. However, the Bulldogs' Jeff Bloom comes down with a rebound. A 2-point Batesville lead, and the Bulldogs have the basketball. They work it out to Ehrman on the right wing. To Siebert for 3 from the right side, no good. Rebound is long, and a foul underneath on Doolin as he was pushing off. And Doolin picks up his second foul. That's just the 4th team foul against Batesville.
Looking down at that action, John, from where we are, it looks like they could have called about 5 different fouls there on 5 different people, the way the action was.
Phil Dahl, the 6'3 junior, will check in for Batesville as Bostic comes in for Connersville to take Bottomley's spot. And Doolin will leave for Batesville. Doolin has 4 points and 2 fouls, and he's now on the bench. Spartans have a chance to tie or perhaps take the lead on a 3-pointer. Mitchell Sizemore goes to Bostic, back out to Joe Smith, and around to Chris Poe left side. Poe finds Joe Smith. Smith takes the top of the circle to Sizemore right side, to Hobby on the wing. Back to Sizemore. He finds Hobby open for 3 from the right side. Good for Steve Hobby. His first basket, and the Spartans have a 33-32 lead with 2:13 to play in the first half. Batesville gets it across the timeline to Ehrman. Ehrman nearly loses it out to Siebert. Inside to Dahl, and around it comes to Bloom. Here's Siebert with a basketball to Laudick for 3, and he gets it from the right side, his 5th three-pointer. He's got 20 points, and the Bulldogs lead at 35-33. Joe Smith finds Poe in the left corner. Chris will bring it back out. The Spartans down by 2. A minute 42 left to play in the first half. Here is Poe with the ball back in the left corner. Brings it out to Joe Smith and around to Sizemore right side to Hobby in the corner. Out to Smith for 3 from the left side of the circle. No good. Rebound taken down by Siebert. Batesville with a basketball, leading by 2 with a minute 25 left in the first half. Jeff Bloom gets it back over to Siebert, around to Laudick for 3 more. He's got his 6th three-pointer, and the Bulldogs jump out to their largest lead of the night, 38-33. A minute 10 left in the first half. Here is Hobby from the baseline. No good. Rebound taken down by Bloom of Batesville. A minute to play in the half, and the Bulldogs have a 5-point lead in the basketball. And they're going to spread the floor. Laudick and Siebert will play pass, and now Siebert gives up his dribble, gets it over to Bloom and around to Laudick with 45 seconds left in the half, and the Bulldogs lead it by 5. Here's a loose ball, picked back, still loose on the floor, and finally tossed away. It's going to be Connersville basketball, I believe, as the Bulldogs lose it.
They let that go quite a long time, and the Bulldogs swatted the ball away, and Spartans have a chance here.
32 seconds left in the half. Connersville down by 5, but the Spartans have the basketball. They've got to convert on this possession, as this is the biggest lead that either team's had here in the first half, and the Bulldogs lead at 38-33. We're down to 15 seconds in the half. Spartans with the basketball, and it's kicked by Siebert, and so the Spartans with 11 seconds will put it back in play. A 5-point Bulldog lead, and Connersville with the ball. Trying to cut into it. Here's Chris Poe in the corner. Back over to Smith for 3 from the left side. No good. And on the rebound, Steve Hobby commits his second foul.
He had a foul called early. The other guy had a foul called early, so maybe it's the same call.
3 seconds left on the clock, and Hobby picks up his second foul. Now the Bulldogs will be at the free throw line as Matt Laker will check in for Batesville. Also coming in will be Doug Brown. And again, Steve Cochran, like he did in the Rising Sun game with about 3 seconds left in the half, will take his starters out and put in his bench. As we see Ehrman at the free throw line trying to stretch this 5-point lead. Laudick will come out of the ball game with a game-high 20 points. Or excuse me, try 23 points.
That's a lot.
The shot by Ehrman is good. He gets his 5th in a row, as he's got 9 points for the Bulldogs. So their front line has really proved to be the offensive weapon. Ehrman hits them both, and it's a 7-point lead for the Bulldogs. Chris Poe will heave one at the buzzer, no good, and that's the end of the first half. From the Tiernan Center on WCMB WIFE, Batesville leads Connersville 40-33. To start this third quarter, it'll be Joe Smith, Noel Bostic, Chris Poe, Steve Hobby, and Greg Garrison for Connersville. Todd Dickman, John Siebert, Jason Laudick, Rick Ehrman, and Tony Doolin, the 5 for Batesville. Batesville up by 7, but the Connersville Spartans have the basketball. They hope to do something about that. Joe Smith in the left corner will bring it out to Chris Poe. He'll work it over to Greg Garrison on the right wing. Garrison inside to Smith. Now over to Hobby and around to Poe. Here's Garrison for 3 from the top of the key. No good. Garrison tries for his rebound, and it's picked up by Batesville's Laudick, and he lays it up and in. Laudick with a game-high 25 points, and the Bulldogs lead it by 9. Garrison with the basketball. Gets it out high to Chris Poe and around to Hobby. Hobby brings it back to Smith and now to Bostic. His turnaround jumper is no good. A fight for the rebound, and the Bulldogs, John Siebert comes out with it. Siebert with a basketball, and he'll work it near the top of the circle. Take it over to the left side. Now reverse it right side over to Ehrman. Ehrman inside the lane, misses the shot, and we've got a foul on the rebound, and it's going to go against a Connersville Spartan. Ehrman was the only Bulldog around that ball with 4 Spartans around there. And Bostic's going to pick up his second foul. That'll be the first against Connersville this half. Batesville will put it in play, leading by 9, 42-33. They work it out to Ehrman. Ehrman baseline left, up with a shot, no good. Hobby has the rebound to Garrison. Over now to Joe Smith. Spartans need a basket here. They trail by 9. Smith open for 3. No good. And the rebound taken down by Laudick. So the Bulldogs have the ball back. They lead by 9. We've got 6:38 left in the third quarter. Ehrman on the right wing will fire one up for 3. Good. The Bulldogs have outscored Connersville 5-0 to start the third quarter. and now lead it by 12, 45-33. Here's a steal by Laudick and a loose ball, and Laudick gets it. Laudick takes it over Poe on the right side and scores again. Laudick's got the hot hand. He's got 27, and the Spartans want a timeout. From the Tiernan Center on WCND, WYFE, Batesville leads Connersville 47-33.
If your water could talk, would it sound like this?
You like that?
From red to green and everything in between, that's Spartan Truck Day, March 16th and 17th at Brookville Automotive Supply, 12 Murphy Street in Brookville.
Connersville Spartans get the ball in play. Todd Dickman fouls Greg Garrison. That's number 2 on Dickman, the first against Batesville in the second half. And the Spartans want the ball back in play right in front of their bench. Joe Smith will trigger it over to Bostic and get the ball right back. A 14-point Batesville lead, 47-33. Hobby gets it down low to Bostic. Back to Hobby on the left side. In the lane to Garrison. His shot is good, and Greg Garrison has 6 points. First basket for Connersville in the second half. Bulldogs work the ball. Spartans putting on some pressure, and Poe will kick the ball out of bounds, so the Bulldogs will reset the offense. Connersville down by 12.
They must make the defensive pressure work for them here.
Batesville's just red hot here in this third quarter. Dickman in the lane, takes it to the basket, draws a foul. And he should go to the stripe for 2. Bostic's going to pick up his third foul of the night. That'll be the second foul against Connersville this half. They're going to call it a common foul. So Dickman will trigger in and out of bounds. Over to Ehrman in the right corner. Ehrman starts to go baseline. He's cut off, brings it out high to Laudick. Laudick with a game-high 27 points, works it over to Siebert. Laudick will take it back to Siebert, and around it comes to Dickman, over to Doolin in the corner. Here's Siebert from the top of the circle, tries to go inside, and Bostic just picked up his 4th foul. He's picked up all 3 of the Connersville fouls this half.
He was trying to deny the pass into the post, and he thought he had an arm ahead, but not the call.
And the Bulldogs will put the ball in play underneath their own basket as Bostic will stay out there with 4 fouls. Here's the inbound to Laudick, and he lays it up and in for his 29th point. As they got the Spartan back door open, and Laudick closed it with a basket. Inside, they work it to Bostic, and he puts it off the glass for his 6th point. A 12-point Batesville lead, 49-37. Ehrman whips it over to Laudick on the left side. Laudick brings it back over to Siebert. Siebert, double team, finds Laudick. Laudick now fights through a double team to Dickman. Down low to Ehrman. He'll shoot one up from the right side. No good. And Doolin's going to commit the foul over the back of Noel Bostic. And Doolin gets his 3rd foul, the second against the Bulldogs this half, as Mitchell Sizemore will check in for Connersville.
That was the kind of call when the whistle blew, you wanted to know, surely not. But Doolin had the second position. He came over the back of Bostic.
And Bostic will come out of the ball game with 6 points and 4 fouls. Mitchell Sizemore with 6 points replaces him. A 12-point Batesville lead. The Spartans have the ball with 4:39 left in the third. Sizemore works it over to Garrison. Garrison to Smith, and around it comes down low to Hobby. In the lane to Garrison. His off-balance shot no good. And there is Siebert with a rebound for Batesville. Siebert gets it across the timeline to Ehrman. Now to Laudick, baseline right, back to Siebert. Siebert tries, gives it back to Laudick, blocked by Hobby. And a loose ball, and we've got a hell ball between Poe and Laudick. And the alternate possession arrow favors Batesville.
I owe no them fans because Laudick just came over around Chris Poe like he was hugging him, and that's not really a jump ball.
Siebert gets the inbound pass, whips it over to Laudick for 3 from the left side. No good. Rebound knocked long to Garrison. Garrison outraces Laudick, and Laudick fouls him. That'll be the second foul on Laudick, the 3rd against the Bulldogs, and Garrison will go to the stripe for 2. We've got 4:03 left to play in the third. And Greg Garrison with 6 points, a 67% shooter from the stripe.
Almost could have called that one an intentional foul.
Greg Garrison, a 5'11 senior, eyes the basket. The free throw by Greg is good. So Garrison has an opportunity for one more to try to cut this lead down to 10. Garrison's second shot is on the way. Rolls in and out, and the Bulldogs Doolin gets the rebound over to Laudick, and around it comes to Siebert. Laudick gets the pass back over to Ehrman on the right wing. He goes cross court to Dickman, and now out to Siebert. Siebert finds Dickman on the left side. To Doolin, gets it right back to Dickman. Dickman goes back to Siebert. Now to Ehrman, around to Laudick for three from the corner. Good again. He's got 32 points, and the Bulldogs lead at 52-38. Chris Poe in the left corner gets it out to Joe Smith, and around it comes to Mitch Sizemore. Sizemore has his pass deflected by Laudick, and the Spartans will put it back in play. That was Laudick's 7th three-pointer. Mitchell Sizemore with a basketball over to Joe Smith. Spartans trail it by 14 as Garrison fires for three and gets it from the left corner. Garrison has 10, and the Bulldogs lead it by 11, 52-41. 3:07 left in the third as Dickman works against Sizemore and gets it over to Siebert. Here's Dickman with the ball. Cross court to Laudick in the corner to Doolin. His shot is up, no good. Sizemore with a rebound. Mitchell on transition, brings it down to Hobby. He takes it and scores. The Spartans cut the lead down to 9, 52-43, as Laudick loses the handle, picked up by Ehrman. Ehrman dishes off to Doolin. He misses, and the Spartans come down with a rebound as Garrison gets it over to Joe Smith. Smith brings it down to Sizemore to the basket. Two more. Oh, no. Foul on Mitchell Sizemore. That'll be his second. The team scores, and it wipes out a basket by Sizemore.
Fans, as John Wright was absolutely right, there's no way that was an offensive foul there. Doolin is about 6'4", and Mitchell didn't even get into him at all. Not at all. Big call in this game, too, at this particular point in time.
2:28 left in the third.
Doolin's fourth foul.
Finally comes to the ball game. Hobby comes out, and the Spartans trail by 9. They could have cut it to 7.
He must have driven too far, John.
Siebert gets it over to Ehrman. Ehrman back to Siebert, double teamed, and he charges into Sizemore. Siebert picks up his first foul, the fourth against Batesville, and the Spartans will put it back in play as Hobby comes in and Garrison will go out.
Couple oh-no's there. One for us, one for them.
2:16 left in the third. Both teams turn it over on the charging call, and the Spartans have the ball back down by 9. Mitchell Sizemore out front with the ball over to Joe Smith. Smith gets it back to Sizemore. He finds Joe Smith, and there was some debris on the floor, and the players were trying to point it out to the officials, and the Spartans almost lost the ball on that.
I think Mitchell got hit by the coin is what happened. He was trying to tell the referee what happened, but he wouldn't believe him.
Now the Spartans will put the ball back in play, and they get it over to Sizemore. Sizemore finds Poe, now to Hobby in the corner, right side. Back over it comes to Poe. 1:54 left in the third. The Spartans trail by 9. Connersville with a basketball. Hobby finds Poe near the top of the circle for three. Short. Rebound, scramble, and a foul. And it's going to go against Siebert. It's going to be his second, team's fifth, and that should put Chris Poe at the stripe for 1-1.
They're going to call it the other way. They called that the other way.
Oh, I thought, no, they called it on Siebert. They're just shooting at the wrong basket.
Okay.
The officials are a little confused, Don, that's all.
Oh, well, at least they showed it.
And Greg Garrison will check back into the ball game. Well, he's going to take Poe's place, and Poe's at the stripe, so Greg can't come in yet. So Chris Poe has 9 points in this game. All of the first half is at the free throw line, trying to cut into the 9-point Batesville lead. Poe's free throw is good. Chris is the second Spartan to hit double figures. And with 1:43 left to play in this third quarter, he's got a chance to cut that Batesville lead down to 7. Shot is up. It's good. And now Poe will come out. Garrison takes his spot. Bulldogs have the ball with 1:43 left in the third. They're up by 7. That was the halftime margin. Batesville breaks the press. They get it to Ehrman. Ehrman takes it left side over to Dickman. Dickman now goes cross court to Siebert. Siebert looks for help, brings it back to Dickman. Dickman takes it left side of the corner now to Laudick and around to Dickman. Underneath to Ehrman, knocked away by Bottomley, and a foul on Bottomley. That'll be number 1 on Chris, and we'll see Ehrman back at the free throw line where he is 6 for 6. That was the 5th team foul against Connersville.
Well, Chris Bottomley came a long way there to try to deflect the ball. If it would have been football, it would have been okay, but he got his arm hooked into Ehrman there, and he'll be at the free throw line.
Ehrman has 13 points. He hits the first of a 1-and-1.
That is their first free throw of the second half.
A 53-45 Batesville lead with 1:20 left to play in the third. Ehrman up with his second shot. Misses. And the Spartans lose the rebound to Laudick. 2 Connersville players had the ball. Siebert with a basketball. He looks for help. Laps it over Ehrman's head. Mitchell Sizemore takes it to the hoop, misses the shot, and the Bulldogs come out with it. And Siebert brings it down on transition. Siebert in the lane, dishes off low, and we've got a walking violation against Phil Dahl, a 6'3 junior who's checked in the ball game.
Mitchell's had some tough luck on his layups. That time he got the ball down strong, and somehow a hand got in his way there, and it just wouldn't fall for him.
Bulldogs lead it by 8 with 56 seconds left in the third. The Spartans have the basketball. Joe Smith will give it up over to Garrison. Now to Bottomley. Bottomley loses the handle, and he is going to commit the foul as he got into Phil Dahl. And Bottomley gets his second foul, and Dahl will go to the free throw line for the first time today. He's only a 38% shooter from the stripe.
Bottomley went up in the air to try to make a pass, and somehow the ball got slapped away from him, and then trying to get the ball back, he jumped up in the air right on top of Dahl.
Jerry Smith will check in the ball game now for Bottomley. The Bulldogs also make a move as they bring Matt Laker into the ball game. The shot by Dahl is no good, and Joe Smith has the rebound for Connersville. Spartans, Joe Smith, a three-pointer from the top of the circle, short. Dickman with a rebound over the Laker. Laker will bring it up, double team, looks for help, and gets it over to Laudick. Laudick finds Dickman open baseline left. His shot is up, no good. Rebound Ehrman. Ehrman back up with it and scores. He's got 16, and the Bulldogs lead it by 10, 55-45. And the Bulldogs also have an injured player, and I believe that's Ehrman, who has hurt his left foot.
Yeah, he may have a cramp on the play.
So that has halted action here for the moment. With 18 seconds left to play in the third quarter, the Spartans find themselves down by 10. They trail by 7 at the end of the first half. To Joe Smith, and Connersville needs to close out this quarter with a basket. Garrison on the right wing gets it out high to Joe Smith, and now to Hobby on the left side. He'll fire from the left side, no good. Jerry Smith with a rebound, back up. It will roll in with 5 seconds to play in the third. Bulldogs will put it in, and a long heave by Bloom is no good, and that's the end of 3 quarters. From the Tiernan Center on WCNB, WIFE, Batesville leads Connersville 55-47.
Delivery area.
We're down to the final 8 minutes of play. Batesville leads Connersville by 8, 55-47. The winner goes to the Indianapolis Semi-State at Hinkle Fieldhouse next Saturday to take on the winner of the Newcastle Regional. Jerry Smith goes out to Joe Smith for 3. It's good. Joe Smith starts off the fourth quarter with his second three-pointer, and it's a 5-point game as Sizemore steals. Gets it to Smith. His reverse layup, no good. Loose ball. Sizemore in the lane, misses. And the Bulldogs come out with it, only to see Garrison steal it from Batesville. So the Spartans will reset the offense down by 5. 7:22 left to play in the game. Joe Smith in the lane. Dishes off to Sizemore for three. It's good. Sizemore has 9, and it's a 2-point ball game. Batesville under pressure. Laudick in the backcourt. Gets it to Siebert across the timeline. Siebert finds Dickman. Back over to Siebert. And now to Ehrman in the corner. Ehrman and Laudick did all the scoring in the third quarter for Batesville. Bulldogs lead it by 2. Here's Laudick from outside. No good. Rebound Connersville. Spartans bring it down court to Hobby from the baseline. No good. And the Bulldogs get the ball back, and Laudick looks like he's come up with a hobbled leg. He's trying to walk off the cramp as the Bulldogs working around to Ehrman. Ehrman double team, fights through it, loses it. Garrison steals it over to Joe Smith. Smith has Sizemore to the left side, dishes off. He scores, and we're tied at 55. Sizemore has 11, and the Bulldogs want timeout. From the Tiernan Center on WCND WIFE. Connersville and Batesville are tied at 55. Batesville under full court pressure. Siebert double teams. Garrison steals. And we've got a foul on Siebert. That'll be his third. And Garrison's going to go to the stripe. Boy, Craig's got some quick hands here in this fourth quarter.
He certainly did. He stole the ball right away.
It's Mitchell Sizemore, Greg Garrison, Joe Smith, Jerry Smith, and Steve Hobby for Connersville. Laudick, Ehrman, Doolin, Siebert, and Dickman. The original 5 for Batesville. Greg Garrison has 10 points. He's at the free throw line. Shot is up. It's good, and the Spartans lead it 56-55. They were down by as many as 14 in the third quarter. Greg Garrison's second shot is up. He gives Connersville a 2-point lead. And now, again, the Spartans apply full court pressure. Dickman gets it over to Siebert. Siebert finds Ehrman. Ehrman looks for help and gets it right back to Siebert. Here's Dickman out to Laudick for 3. Good. Laudick with his 35th point gives Batesville a 58-57 lead. Greg Garrison hits Jerry Smith in the lane for 2. Jerry Smith has 6, and the Spartans lead it 59-58. Batesville with a basketball down by 1. Siebert double team. Garrison rips it out of his hand. Garrison leads Sizemore. Sizemore pulls up for the shot and hits it. Sizemore has 13, and the Spartans lead it by 3. Here's a steal. Sizemore to Joe Smith. Back to Sizemore for 3. Good! 54-58. The Spartans have exploded in the fourth quarter. The Bulldogs with the basketball. And a near steal by Garrison. He knocks it out of bounds.
You know the Danny Scripture ad, unbelievable? This is unbelievable.
Well, nobody said it'd be easy. But the Spartans have come from 14 points down to lead by 6. 64-58 with 5:07 left in the game. Ehrman double teamed. Here's a steal by Sizemore. Sizemore in traffic to Hobby. To the basket. Good again. Hobby with 7. And the Bulldogs want a timeout. From the Tiernan Center on WCND WIFE, Connersville leads Batesville 66-58.
The fixed-rate mortgage has come out of retirement. A few years back, fickle interest rates led banks to introduce the adjustable rate mortgage. Trouble is, many banks also quit offering a fixed-rate mortgage altogether. At People's Trust Company, fixed-rate mortgages...
By 8, 66-58, the Bulldogs have the basketball. Siebert gets it, and we've got a foul on Mitchell Sizemore as he tried to take the ball away from Laudick. That will be number 3 on Sizemore.
That was a little quick, John.
Yeah, Siebert could have been called for taking steps trying to get around the defense, too.
Yeah, he could have.
So that's going to put Laudick at the free throw line where he's 1 for 2 tonight, but he's got a game-high 35 points.
I think he decided there, the referee did, well, they're not going to let him get that close this time.
So Laudick looking for his 36 points. It's good. He'll get his bonus shot. That's just their 4th point this quarter. 66-59, the Spartans lead the Bulldogs by 7. Laudick's second shot. It's good again. Laudick with a game-high 37 cuts the Spartan lead to 6, and Connersville's got the basketball with 4:46 left to play. Greg Garrison works the ball right side, gets it out to Jerry Smith, and around the Mitchell Sizemore. They try to go inside to Garrison. He maintains his composure to Hobby, and now Hobby walks with the ball.
Well, about 3 Spartans did walk with it then, John, and finally one of them was called for it. I don't think Steve Hobby was the one that traveled, though. It must have been Jerry Smith.
The Bulldogs will get it into Ehrman and around to Siebert with 4:28 to play. A deflection by Joe Smith to Garrison, to Sizemore to Joe. Joe goes back to Garrison from the baseline. He's got 2 more. Garrison with 14, and the Spartans lead at 68-60. Here comes Siebert through traffic, loses it, and it's going to be turned over to Connersville as Siebert kicks the basketball.
I didn't think momentarily they were going to call that the way the action was so fierce there, but they did.
Spartans with 4:12 to play have an 8-point lead in the basketball. Joe Smith will bring it across the timeline to Garrison, and Dickman will try to take it away and lose it out of bounds.
The Bulldogs have gone to a man defense here. The Spartans must still be patient and perhaps get an easy layup.
4:03 left to play as Chris Poe will check in for Connersville, and Garrison looks like they'll have a problem with that contact. Garrison's had a great game, 14 points for Greg.
Greg needs to bring his optometrist with him here.
He's had 10 of those 14 points in this half. 68-60, Connersville over Batesville by 8. 4 minutes to play in this game. Joe Smith works it right side, dishes off to Jerry Smith and gets it right back. Now Joe will bring it back out near the timeline to Jerry, back to Joe, over to Jerry, give and go. He misses. Rebound comes along to Sizemore, but we got a foul inside, and I think Jerry Smith is going to be charged with it. Or are they going to call that undoing? Over the back. And a foul apparently on Doolin. Or is it Laudick they're going to say? His third foul. All right. I didn't have the right guy anywhere.
That was Smith to Smith to Smith to Smith, I think.
You're probably right. And it's going to be Jerry Smith back at the free throw line. Jerry's got 6 points in this game, but he's missed his only 2 free throws. 3:43 to play in the game, and the Spartans lead it by 8 after trailing by 14 in the third. Jerry Smith, a 6'2 junior. The free throw is good.
He gets high fives from everybody on the floor.
Makes it 69-60 Connersville. Smith's second shot rims in and out, and the rebound taken out by Ehrman of Batesville. Over to Siebert. Siebert, double team, gets it off to Laudick. Laudick now finds Siebert. Inside to Doolin. Back out to Ehrman, and around to Dickman. Siebert finds Ehrman for 2 from the corner, no good. Rebound, Dickman is going to be fouled by Jerry Smith. And that'll be number 1 on Jerry. And that'll put Dickman at the stripe for 1 on the bonus, with Batesville down by 9 and only 3:23 left in the game.
There, Jerry Smith had the inside position on that play, and the ball went way over Jerry's head. Jerry turned around to get it, and there was Dickman right in his way, and Dickman will be at the free throw line.
Todd Dickman at the stripe, and the free throw is good.
And they still continue to hit their free throws.
69-61, the Spartans lead Batesville by 8. Dickman's second shot from the stripe. He misses, and the rebound to Mitchell Sizemore. Sizemore gets it off to Joe Smith. Smith across the timeline, finds Jerry, and right back to Joe. Joe now will go near the top of the circle. He'll set up the offense to Poe. Poe looks for help, gets it right back to Joe. And now to Mitchell Sizemore. Sizemore, Chris Poe, and Joe Smith playing out high. Here's Hobby underneath, and he misses the layup. The Bulldogs come down hard, and Doolin goes down. That's the third Batesville player that's gone down with a bum leg.
He gets a cramp as well.
Well, you know, their starting 5 played almost the entire game against Rising Sun. They just got a brief rest on the bench in the closing seconds of the first half.
He tripped over his own teammate on the play as he came down, and Doolin will still stay in the game here as Bostic will check back in now.
Well, Bostic, who had 4 fouls, sat out most of the third quarter. Hobby takes a breather.
That's been a good basket for Hobby to have knocked home then.
Bulldogs have the ball down by 8 with 2:57 left to play in this game. Spartans have to play some big, tough defense right here. Lauda gets it to Dickman across. A near steal by Bostic, but he knocks it out of bounds as he prevented Ehrman from catching that one.
Disrupted the offense. They'll have to put it in play at side court right in front of their cheering section.
2:51 to play in this ball game. Siebert with a basketball. Gets it over to Dickman on the left side. He's double teamed. Looks for help back to Siebert. Siebert here. Dickman, he fires from the lane. No good, but a foul on Connersville. And Jerry Smith may have picked up his second. And that's going to put Dickman back at the stripe where he's 1 for 2.
The Spartans have run a spell now defensively where all they can do is foul when they come down and put the Bulldogs back at the free throw line.
And that's not good because that kills the clock. And we've got 2:41 left to play in this ball game.
The Spartans now want that clock to run.
Dickman will get 2 shots. His first one is good. That's his 4th point. He averages 8. He had 7 in the win against Rising Sun. 69-62, a 7-point Spartan lead. Dickman for Batesville at the free throw line. His second shot also good as it rolls in. Now the Bulldogs will press full court, but Sizemore gets the pass over to Jerry Smith. Smith will have to track it down back now to Joe Smith. Spartans lead it by 6. Bostic with the ball. Gets it out now to Sizemore with 2.5 minutes to play. Sizemore starts to penetrate. He's going to be fouled, and he'll go to the free throw line. Sizemore with a team-high 16 points in this ball game for Connersville. Dickman's going to pick up his 3rd foul, and we'll see Mitchell Sizemore, who's a 64% shooter. He had 5 points in the win against Richmond. He's got 16 tonight. Free throw by Sizemore is no good. Bostic went up for the rebound, and we got a foul on Batesville's Ehrman. Yes. So Sizemore misses a free throw. Ehrman picks up his first foul, and Bostic will go to the free throw line with 2:25 to play in the game. Knoll has 6 points tonight. He's a 67% shooter from the stripe, and he'll be up there with 1 in the bonus.
Bostic had the second spot there on the free throw line. The ball came toward his way. He reached up and grabbed the ball, had it in his possession, and Ehrman tried to come in and took it away and got nothing but Bostic's elbow.
Well, the Spartans need to hit these free throws. They lead by 6 with 2:25 to play in this game. Noel Bostic at the stripe looking for his 7th point tonight in this championship game of the Richmond Regional. It's good. The winner goes to Hinkle Fieldhouse next Saturday to play the winner of the Newcastle Regional. New Palestine and Muncie South are playing for that title. Bostic looking for his 8th point. Got them both. And it's an 8-point Connersville lead with 2:23 to play in the game. Batesville gets it across the timeline. Siebert double teamed. Gives it up to Dickman. Dickman pulls up, fires off glass, no good. Rebound taken down by Chris Poe. 2 minutes and 7 seconds left to play. And the Spartans throw it away, and Sizemore comes up lame as he and Jerry Smith try to go for that ball, and Sizemore stops short and is hobbling just a little bit. Now he seems to be able to walk that one off.
Well, he had a man up ahead, and Jerry and Mitch both thought the ball was to him, and they crashed into each other and went out of bounds.
So Batesville back with the ball with 2:02 left to play in the game. Lauda gets it down to Ehrman for 2. No good. Rebound Chris Poe once again. Over to Joe Smith. Smith brings it up court. Double team. Breaks the pressure over to Bostic and back to Joe Smith with 1:47 to play in this basketball game. Here's Mitchell Sizemore to Joe Smith. Over to Jerry Smith, and he scores for 2 more. A 10-point Spartan lead, 1:35 to play, and a steal by Chris Poe. Joe Smith with the ball over to Chris Poe with 1:26 to go. The Spartans lead at 73-63. Joe Smith dishes off to Bostic. Bostic forces one out. He scores!
Oh, no, they're not.
Foul is before the shot on Doolin. It'll be his fourth, and Bostic will have to get his points the hard way. He'll have to earn them.
Well, he did that, John, and what he wanted to do, he waited until the man came down, then he shot the ball. It looked like he may have had the shot taken.
Well, Bostic will be at the stripe for one of the bonus with 1:18 left to play. Sizemore comes out. Garrison replaces him. A 10-point Spartan lead. The shot is good by Bostic. He gets his 9th point.
You know, John, there are probably people in Connersville turned off the radio sometime in that third quarter of play, and are they ever going to be surprised?
It's now an 11-point Connersville lead as the Spartans feel they're Hinkle-bound. Second shot. It's good again by Bostic, who has 10. A 12-point Connersville lead with 1:15 to play in the game. Siebert brings it up court. Takes it cross court to Doolin, who scores an unmolested basket. 1:05 to play in the ball game, and we've got a foul on Laudick. It'll be his fourth, and that'll send Joe Smith to the stripe.
Well, Laudick certainly stopped the clock then. He came down really strong to Joe. Joe will be at the free throw line.
A 10-point Connersville lead. Joe Smith has only 8 points in this ball game. He had 5 of those in the first quarter and a 3-pointer here in the fourth. So Joe Smith at the stripe. Eyes the basket, puts it up, and it's good. He can become the 5th Spartan to be in double figures if he hits this one.
Brother Joe has had an outstanding game as well tonight.
Well, Jerry Smith is 1 point away from double figures. Second shot by Joe is good again. A 12-point Spartan lead with 1:03 to play. A steal by Jerry Smith and a re-steal by Ehrman of Batesville. And he gets it over to Laudick for 3. It is good. Laudick now with 40 points in the ball game, but the Spartans lead at 77-68. And we've got a whistle and a foul, and that should be it on Laudick. That will be his 5th, and he'll leave with 40 points. He had 9 3-pointers in the ball game. 14 field goals in all.
Spartans fans should give him a hand because he's played a well-deserved game tonight.
Jason Laudick, a 6'2 senior, fouls out with a game-high 40 points, 9 3-pointers. But nonetheless, the Spartans lead at 77-68, and Joe Smith is back at the stripe for one of a bonus. First shot is up, and it's good. Well, Don, I know I'm going to send you down to the floor sometime. Would like to talk with Mike Cirqua if you can get up here. Of course, Coach Bullington and maybe a couple other coaches, Dwayne Wall, Larry Miller, and maybe some kids can get them.
Okay.
Your main assignment. A 10-point Spartan lead, and Smith makes it an 11-point lead. Now, we've got a timeout on the court. 45 seconds left to play in this basketball game. The Spartans lead it 79-68. 79 is the good number. That's what they ended up against Richmond, 79-71.
They've scored a lot of points in these 2 basketball games here.
5 players in double figures. Sizemore has 16. Joe Smith has 12. Greg Garrison has 14. Poe has 11, and Bostic has 10.
You know, John,
good balance.
Early this year, the Spartans ran around the track in September, October. And, you know, in a game like this, that particular activity certainly paid dividends because they kept their feet underneath them in this 2 games here, and, it paid good dividends for them.
Well, they played the second game. It was a hard-fought game against the Richmond Red Devils. They had to come from behind in that one. They fell down by as many as 14 in the third in this one, but they lead it by 11, and they're 45 seconds away from the Sweet 16. Batesville with the basketball as Siebert brings it up court quickly. He'll fire a quick shot, no good. Doolin with the rebound, no good. And Joe Smith gets it over to Jerry Smith. Now back to Joe Smith. Long pass to Jerry Smith. He feeds Poe. Poe in the lane, lays it up, no good, gets his own rebound, and he's going to be fouled by Laker. That'll be number 1 on Laker, and Chris Poe with 24 seconds will go to the free throw line, looking for points number 12 and 13. Batesville will empty its bench. And I think the Spartan fans finally realize that next Saturday they've got a date at Hinkle Fieldhouse, and tickets are going to be at a premium. I'm sure we'll be distributing more than 400 tickets Tuesday night during the random ticket draw.
Well, I'm sure you're right there.
So all sport and season basketball ticket holders, get your request in for semi-state tickets in no later than noon Tuesday. And then those tickets will be distributed Tuesday night. Chris Nissen checks in for Greg Garrison. Matt Shirk has checked in for Bostic. And Michael Thompson's waiting to check in for Chris Poe. Joe Smith is going to stay out there. We've got Poe at the free throw line. His shot is good. So the Connersville Spartans now will send Eric Harley into the basketball game to take Joe Smith's spot. And he'll leave with 12 points. Mitchell Sizemore back in the ball game, taking Jerry Smith's spot. He'll leave with 9.
Jerry had a fine basketball game tonight.
A 12-point Connersville lead. Poe's second free throw is also good. He'll come out of the game with 13 points, and Michael Thompson takes his place. To 68, Connersville. Batesville with a basketball. Here's a near steal by Sizemore. He deflected out of bounds with 20 seconds to play, and the Bulldogs will reset their offense. It'll be Rick Gale triggered into Laker. His three-pointer is good. Matt Laker gets his first basket, cuts the lead to 10, and now fouls Mitchell Sizemore. That'll be the second foul on Matt Laker. And Sizemore with a team-high 16 points will go back to the free throw line with 1 and a bonus with 11 seconds left to play in this game, and the Spartan bench is celebrating. They'll be cutting down the nets here at the Tiernan Center. Last time they did it was 1986. Sizemore's free throw is no good. Shirk has the rebound, gets it over to Harley. Harley fires one up and scores. Eric Harley gets his first basket, and it's 83-71. And we've got a foul on Chris Nissen with 1 second to play in the ball game. Well, fans, the Connersville Spartans did it. They came back from 14 points in the third quarter. They lead it by 12. And Coach Larry Bullington is thanking the Connersville crowd for showing their loyal support in helping his kids come back in the second half and pick up a regional championship in his first year at the helm of Connersville. Matt Laker with 1 in the bonus. His shot is good. He'll have one more shot coming to him. With 1 second left to play in this basketball game. Shot is up. It misses. And the rebound, no good. This basketball game is over, and the Connersville Spartans are the 1989 Richmond Regional Champions. Our final score from the Tiernan Center on WCNB WIFE, Connersville 83, Batesville 72. The 1989 Richmond Regional has been brought to you by Domino's Pizza, the Accolade Boutique, Miles Richmond Home Supply Center, Triangle Sheet Metal and Heating, Mason Supermarket, Bauer Ford Mercury, Star Bank of Fayette County, Pizza King and Mr. Pizza, Culligan, by Brookville Automotive, Dick Herbert's Connersville Brookville IGA, Cardinal Communications, and People's Trust Company of County. The fifth quarter is next.
Farmers, Conway Auto Parts can help you keep your farm productivity at its peak. By keeping a healthy stock of the parts you need, Conway Auto Parts helps you keep your farm machinery out in the fields where it belongs. So if you want the top quality parts you need, come to Conway Auto Parts. We want your business to keep on growing. Be sure to mark March 31st on your calendars. You won't want to miss Conway Auto Parts open house when farmers can register for discounts up to 60% on all Big A farm and automotive filters.
We're getting better, better all the time. Big G Lawn and Garden.
Now's the time to see Big G Lawn and Garden and trade up to a snapper. Your old rider or tractor is worth $500 or maybe more when you buy a snapper lawn tractor at regular retail price. Backed by a 2-year limited warranty and a 14-day money-back guarantee. See Big G Lawn and Garden Center, 5th and Eastern in Connersville for the details now. Snap credit is available.
Have you driven a Ford? Then you don't know what you're missing.
If you don't have a Bill Wilson Ford price, do you have a price? Bill Wilson Ford of Harrison, Ohio can put you in the driver's seat of a new 1988 Ford Escort for $129.89 a month. Call toll-free 1-800-451-6382. Bill Wilson Ford.
Have you driven a Ford? Driven a Ford? Have you driven a Ford lately?
Ellison Photography, the area's #1 photographic studio, would like to wish the Connersville Spartans a successful season. Ellison Photography's success has come by offering an award-winning style of photography, not only in their beautifully created senior and individual portraits, but the finest in family portraits and weddings. Ellison Photography is a full-service studio that can create their magic for you with beautiful baby portraits, senior portraits in family settings, as well as wedding photography with a sensitive flair. Don't settle for less than the best. Choose Ellison Photography, 1308 Grand.
This is the 5th quarter, brought to you by Union Savings and Loans, 730 Central Avenue in Connersville.
Hi, everybody. I'm John White, athletic coordinator Mike Circle with us right now. And, Mike, a lot of celebrating on the floor and more celebrating back in Connersville when we get home, huh?
That's right, John. We're inviting the community to come out to the high school gym at 11 o'clock, and we'd like to have a recognition pep session and a little get-ready-to-Hinkle trip back there at the high school at 11 o'clock.
Okay, how about tickets, all sport and season basketball ticket holders? What's the deadline for their request?
Okay, we need to have their request by 4 o'clock on Tuesday. The ticket draw will be Tuesday evening, same format that we've used. Tickets will be available Thursday for pickup, and then any tickets left will go on sale at that time. And I might remind people that Hinkle's gotten a lot smaller than the last time we were there, so it'll be interesting to see what our ticket allotment will be this time.
Okay, how about the price of the tickets? Because they have to accompany the money with them, right?
Right.
$6 or
I think
$5?
it's $6.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was $5 this week, so
Right,
it goes
I
up
think it's
one.
$6.
All right, so Spartan fans, let's hope we get more than 400 tickets to distribute Tuesday night, right?
Oh, yeah. I think so. It'll be a good program.
Are you going to try to convince the school board to maybe tack on a few more years on Coach Bullington's contract?
I don't know. We'll have to discuss that.
Congratulations.
Thanks, John.
The Spartans did a great job.
You guys did too. Thanks.
Okay, well, Don Miller, let's take a look right now at the scoring statistics. First of all, for the Connersville Spartans, so keep that in mind. 4 o'clock is the deadline Tuesday for all sport and season basketball ticket holders. First of all, for Batesville, there's 72 points. Well, Jason Laudick had 40 of them. He had 14 field goals, including 9 three-pointers. 16 points for Rick Ehrman, 6 points for Tony Doolin, 4 points for Matt Laker, and we had 5 points for Todd Dickman and 1 point for John Sievert. The Bulldogs were 15 of 20 from the free throw line. For Connersville, 5 players in double figures. Mitch Sizemore with a team-high 16. Greg Garrison had 14. Chris Poe with 13. Joe Smith had 12, and Noel Bostic had 10. Jerry Smith finished with 9 points, 7 for Steve Hobby, and 2 points for Eric Harley. Chris Bottomley, Michael Thompson, Chris Smithson, and Matt Shirk all played in the game but did not score. The Spartans win it 83-72. It was tied at 19 after the first quarter. Batesville led it by 7 at the half, 40-33. Opened up a 14-point lead, and then Connersville cut that to 8 at the end of the third quarter, 55-47. And then the Spartans outscored the Bulldogs 19-3 to start the fourth quarter and blow the game open wide as Connersville wins it 83-72. So a good effort by the Connersville Spartans as they pick up their 17th win of the season and become the 1989 regional champions here at Richmond. More in a moment after this from Union Savings and Loan.
When you're ready to put your money where your dreams are, make sure you put it where it can do the most for you. That's just common sense. The next step is to talk to Union Savings and Loan about all the ways they have to guarantee a higher yield on your savings. From investment accounts to certificates of deposit, putting your money to work at Union Savings and Loan is the sure, safe way of saving and earning at the same time. This should pique your interest. A one-year certificate of deposit with a minimum investment of $500 returns 8.5% at Union Savings and Loan. And, of course, there are other savings plans as well that will assure you of future financial security. Just call 825-2171 and make an appointment to talk with one of the investment specialists at Union Savings and Loan. Start saving for your future today at Union Savings and Loan Association, 730 Central, member FSLIC.
John White along with Don Miller. Don is down on the floor, rounding up some guests for us to talk to. We'll be talking with some of the Connersville coaches, some of the players, and, of course, we've got the Larry Bullington Show coming up as well. As the Connersville Spartans, what a miraculous comeback by them in this basketball game as they trail by 7 at the half. Batesville opens up a 14-point lead early in the third quarter. Connersville cuts that down to 8 before the end of the third period and then goes on that run, outscoring Batesville 19-3 to start that fourth quarter. And that was the big decisive factor in the basketball game as the Spartans pick up their 17th win. Batesville finishes a fine year at 18-6, but the Spartans win it 83-72. Larry Miller. We're going to talk with Larry here for just a moment. We talked with you before the Richmond Regional. You got to give us all the insight on what you guys were doing before the tournament. You pick up a regional champion. Probably a lot of people didn't figure you guys are going to be in for this night game. How do you feel about tonight?
Oh, this is a tremendous win. I say I'm so excited for the kids. It was just so hard for them to come back into the ball game there early. We couldn't get that fire going, emotionally. And all of a sudden, we got a couple quick steals with Mitchell there. We got some pressure put on them, and they seemed to get a little tired there toward the end, and our kids just come on like gangbusters. And I'm just so proud of them because they wanted it so bad, and it was so hard for them to, we went to the motel between games, and the kids had really laid down and got ready for the ball game, and they were really into it emotionally, but it was tough for them for a while, and I'm just so proud of them.
Honest feeling, when the season started, you guys think you're going to be regional champions?
Oh, I tell you, a lot of people during the season and us before this year, we had a lot of questions, but the kids hung together. They get along so well, and they play well together, and that was a big key getting through the Richmond ball game, I thought, because they was able to pass the ball so well and get a couple easy baskets on the fast break. And that got us through the hump, and I think that's the big key for these kids all year long. They've hung together and played well together, and that's what you got to do to win the ball game.
Congratulations, Larry. Have fun with the pep session tonight.
Oh, we will. Can't wait for next week.
All right, that's reserve coach Larry Miller, and we'll be talking with a few more of the Spartan coaches. Dwayne Wall's come up right now. Let's get a couple of words with Dwayne.
John,
we'll find out. Okay, yeah.
Did you notice the scoreboard 83-72?
Oh, boy, two state championship years. That's kind of ironic, too. Dwayne Wall's with us right now, and gosh, fella, I know that you had to be torn between two teams, Batesville and Connersville. You roomed with Steve Cochran. You told me that early in the week, but I'm sure you're glad that the score ended up this way.
Well, I didn't room with him. We went to college together, but, we were real good friends. I have a lot of respect for Steve, and those kids played real hard, but we changed defenses and changed offenses to start that little spurt there, and we got a basket off the new offense, and then we got right into what we call Chug 4 and picked up the tempo a little bit, and I know a couple of people down there said they've never seen a game where a team totally fell apart or was totally taken out of the game as rapidly as what Batesville was, and it just happened so quick for them they didn't know what hit them. So kids played just marvelous basketball there late.
They have been a group of overachievers. They have played above their potential, I feel.
Yes, they have. This is a team that we felt had to shoot well to be successful, and they did this afternoon. The stats we had were 61%, and we needed that in the real big game, like, with the height advantage that Richmond's going to have against us. But tonight we came out and just didn't shoot well and couldn't do it. We never really got in any kind of a rhythm or a flow, and like you say, then these kids just simply hustled and hung in there and just battled, and eventually things start falling into place.
Well, you guys get them ready for next week, okay? We're going to Hinkle.
I know, it's great. That's the most beautiful place to play there is. I love it there.
All right, Dwayne, we'll see you next week getting this team set for the semi-state and the Sweet 16.
Oh, that sounds fantastic.
Okay. Well, we're going to wrap up our fifth quarter broadcast here, but we got the Larry Bullington show yet to come. The coach will be getting his piece of the net. He'll be coming up here in just a matter of moments, so we invite you to stay tuned for that. And yes, the championship years, Connersville beats Batesville 83-72.
You've been listening to the fifth quarter, brought to you by Union Savings and Loans, 730 Central Avenue in Connersville.
Hello. I've been asked to say a few words about Danny Scripture Chevrolet, where they'll save you so much money on a new or used car, you could probably go out and buy your own country.
Your own country?
Yeah. Well, it probably wouldn't be a very big country, but you could have your picture on the postage stamps and everything.
Well, that may be going overboard just a little bit, but at Danny Scripture Chevrolet, they go all out to save people money with great prices and great financing.
And you know, if you have your own country, it's a great way to meet girls.
I bet.
And Danny Scripture Chevrolet not only has the best prices and the best selection, but they also really believe in carpools.
Carpools?
Yeah. If you ask them, they'll go ahead and put a pool right in your car. It's a great way to cool off on that long drive home.
You're silly. For the very best values, no fooling. See Danny Scripture Chevrolet, 500 Eastern Avenue in Connersville. Great selection, great service, great financing.
But I wonder where they put the diving board.
Did you know that you can receive auto insurance discounts at the Lawson Agency Insurers, 320 West 30th Street? Insure more than one car and save up to 20%. Combine your homeowner's insurance with your auto insurance and save up to 10%. Save 9% if you've been accident-free for 3 years, and save 10% for driver's training. The Lawson Agency Insurers also provide discounts for homeowners insurance. For more details, stop by the Lawson Agency Insurers, 320 West 30th Street.
This is the Larry Bullington Show. A look at tonight's Connersville Spartan basketball game with Spartan head coach Larry Bullington. It's all brought to you by the Athletic Arena, 2929 Park Avenue in Connersville, your all-sports store located across from Roberts Park.
There's been a lot of celebrating here at the Tiernan Center by the team clad in red and white. It's the Connersville Spartans that reign supreme here at the 1989 Richmond Regional. Larry, your first regional championship as coach of the Connersville Spartans in your very first year. You've got to really feel elated about this.
Well, I feel so good for the kids. I mean, they worked so hard, and I knew they were a special group when I met them last May, you know, and then during the course of the summer watching them in open gym. I knew we weren't very big, but they got big hearts, and boy, they just play hard all the time. And we finally got a roll in there in that last quarter. Our full court pressure, we extended our half court, stepped down to full court. And we told them it's just going to be like Burlington North this last quarter. We're going to make a run on them. I think somebody said it's 21-3 there at one time. And we just didn't get even. We got even and just zipped on out on them from them, got up to 10 points, and it was just a fine win. Things looked very bleak there in the third quarter. We were subbing a lot of guys in and out. We were a little bit weary. But, boy, we extended it, and the guys dug down deep, and they deserve this thing. It's just a tremendous team win.
Jason Laudick finished with 40 points for Batesville. He nailed 9 3-pointers. He was a big thorn in your side all night long.
Oh, man, that's all we talked about this afternoon in our meeting. You know, he's a great outside shooter, and again, we kind of went out there. We were in the general area, but we didn't get a real good hand up on his face, and he's just a fine basketball player. I saw them play against South Dearborn about February the 10th or the 11th, and was very, very impressed with them. They were down 14-2 early on and came back and won that game by 11. And I thought there might be a chance that we might play these guys up here. And it looked tough here for 3 quarters, but you played 32 minutes, and the kids just did a fantastic job. And I'm so happy. I can't tell you how happy I am.
Well, Don Miller was going back to August and September when these kids were running around the track. You played the second game today, and it looks like a lot of that pre-conditioning really helped out.
Yeah, these guys, we talked about that a little bit this afternoon. You know, we didn't dwell on it, the fact that, you know, you really got to dig down deep and this and that. Your legs, you really got to get your legs in your shot. Because if you talk about something too much, sometimes you can put a negative influence on kids. So, you know, we just went out there, and it's a basketball game. You know, really 2 hours didn't make that much difference. We had a very emotional game this afternoon. It just showed you what kind of basketball team we really have.
And very good team balance. 5 players in double figures. Sizemore off the bench leads the way with 16 points. But you had Garrison, Bostic, Smith and Poe, all in double figures.
Well, I know, a lot of people said, what's wrong with the Spartans? We're 9-2, then we lose Mitchell to grades. And people just don't understand, you lose a kid like that, and, he's worked hard getting his grades back up there, and he's back in there. You just look at a different level. You look at Kendall Gill, Illinois, they were 17-0, then he went out. What happened to them? And, it's kind of the same thing on the high school level here, and we sure need a Mitchell tonight because we got to have that depth playing the up-tempo game that we play. We need 8 or 9 guys in there hustling as hard as they can.
Well, Larry, congratulations, regional champion. Is this your very first regional championship?
No. This is my second.
All right.
We won one in Plainfield in 1986. We went up to Lafayette, and Gary Wallace beat us up there by 7 points. But this is our first one here, and the second one's just as nice as the first one. And I know these guys are happy. I know that, so we'll let you talk to these guys here. They did all the work tonight.
Okay, we're going to talk with some of the players after this from the Athletic Arena.
For over 6 years now, the Athletic Arena in Connersville has been helping the athletes of Connersville and the Whitewater Valley perform their very best with the best sportswear and equipment available. But they also know that not everyone is an athlete. Maybe you're a morning jogger, a jazzerciser, or an in-home exerciser. And for you people, the Athletic Arena has the sports clothes and equipment you'll need. The Athletic Arena of Connersville stocks a full line of sports clothes, including